It's like, I'm so excited.
So happy to be here.
Oh my God, I've been like waiting for this moment.
Girl, same. You've been on my list for a long time. It was actually written on my manifestation list. Melissa Wood invites me on her podcast. I swear to God.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
So like you totally like blew me out of the water with that. I was so excited.
Oh my, honestly, like where to even take it back? It's so interesting because I've known you for a really long time. Like in the beginning.
Wait, remember we did like
you guys did a,
yes.
I read it the other day.
Oh my God. It was like, wait, we're kind of obsessed with Melissa Wood Health, I think is what it was called. It was like in such like 2016 lingo or maybe like 2017.
So sweet.
Yeah.
I remember it vividly.
Yeah.
But I just remember you and Dale from the beginning because you were always great supporters of me. We were great supporters of each other.
Totally.
But, as I've watched you evolve, you've had such an evolution.
Thank you.
You have. And I see so much of myself in you. From the moment I met you, I did. And I've never shared any of this with you because, I mean, as we're sitting here today, I'm like, we're so close, but this is the first time we've sat down together.
No, I was thinking before coming here, I'm like, is it weird to tell Melissa that I feel like we're very similar? And I don't mean to like overly compliment myself by saying that because I think so highly of you.
As we're dressed alike.
Literally in the same outfits. But like, there's a certain thing about certain people where you're just like, I don't know if it's a past life or what, but like, I get you.
Oh, I get you entirely. And I've always got you and I've seen you. And I feel like I always saw this tremendous strength in you. I feel before you even tapped into it fully, which, I think it's interesting to kind of like really take it back because you've been a creator in the space for a really long time.
Yeah.
And you started with Dale. So you guys really grew this thing together. And then to see you also like step in and own your own voice has been, I'm just like, it's empowering. It's inspiring. And I feel like I've just like really watched you grown into a woman.
I really appreciate that because it's been a process and I've had a lot of stuff along the way, breakups, health things, like a lot of up and downs. And it's been really fun to be at a point where Sweats in the City is a pretty well-oiled machine. We've been doing it for 10 years. We know the drill very well. I know exactly what needs to be done. And to sort of have this extra space and time and energy to pour into something that's like very aligned with where I'm at right now and very aligned with like my spiritual side and my alternative healing and like all of the kind of weird stuff that I didn't necessarily have a space for. And I'm sure you can relate to like having an outlet for that kind of stuff and having a community that gets it and then is curious about it and that you can also learn from is so fulfilling.
Oh my God, it's the most fulfilling thing. And I feel it's the thing that like supports you to like realize you have wings that you can take off. Like
100%.
when people start to like, I mean, that's what happened to me because I think as you're finding your way, and it's really scary putting yourself out there.
Of course.
And it's like, it can feel like cringy or like all of the things. And people can be like, oh my God, like, do you see what she's doing? And you really just have to like quiet all of that noise and keep like going deep inside yourself. Because as you start to connect with people who are so like-minded, it just like it to this day, whenever I start to feel like, oh my God, what, you have moments sometimes where you're just like, oh my God, it's so much. And then I'm like, it just always helps me rise up.
Absolutely. And I think for so long, I did things with a partner and I still do with Dale. And that has been like so expansive and amazing and all of the things. And it's also like there's so many times that she and I have like literally survived because we've had each other. COVID, for example. And so doing something on my own felt really scary, candidly. And I initially, when I started my podcast, started it with a different co-founder. And we did it together for a very short amount of time. It didn't work out.
I didn't even know that.
It was a little blip in history. And then it was like, I was almost getting signs from the universe, like, do this by yourself, and definitely an adjustment. Like being a creator is its own thing. Doing it with someone else is amazing because you have a support system and always someone who gets it. Doing it on your own is a different animal. And I'm sure a lot of people listening would be like, yeah, whatever, being a creator is not that difficult. But just as someone who gets it yourself, it was a little bit of a leap. And I think I took a series of trust falls into getting to where I am at the moment, which, by the way, is still like, I'm still evolving. I still have a lot of work to do. It is a forever job. Um, but I'm really happy with how it's all played out.
I mean, for all of us, first of all, right? Like, even we all have these moments where you take a moment and you're like, hold on, like, am I actually fully living my truth? Or have I gotten really, really comfortable being here
Exactly.
and then doing something when you start getting those knocks and you lean into it is when, I mean, I always notice myself like dip the lowest at first.
Always. And I always try to remind people that, like, if someone writes me in the DM and they're like, I'm going through a breakup, whatever, I'm like, oh my God, you're so lucky because after those lows always comes your highs. It's
Mm,
just almost impossible to see it in the moment and to trust and to not have like resistance for the uncomfortable because at the end of the day, like our body, our mind, everything is just trying to keep you safe, even if that means keeping you uncomfortable because it's familiar.
mm. The thing that I love about you, and I know why people gravitate, so I mean, like, my whole team loves you, everyone's talking about you, but in a way that, like, I'm just like, yes, like, I've just always seen it, so to see you just really put this, like, full embrace and trust in the process of it all is I love watching someone,
Thank
like,
you.
I love it. It's my favorite thing. Like, that's why I love having a podcast is I love really understanding how it got here because you're so candid and vulnerable with the chronic pain that you were
Hmm.
going through and
Hmm.
just like your revelations and the treatments and the things that you did
Yeah.
to really get to, like, I think, like, the seed of it all.
Yeah.
And I also love how open you are with talking about relationships and you just got engaged.
Yay. Thank
Congratulations.
you. You know, relationships are an interesting topic, and I'm sure you can relate to some degree because both of our Instagram accounts aren't like relationship accounts, right?
Yeah,
That's not why we created it. Our
right.
significant others did not sign up for that.
Oh God.
But
No,
it's
it's like, please stop talking about me.
but it's certainly like a part of us. And especially as someone who was single in her 30s and like going through breakups and moving out and all of that, like people are going to notice. And also, like, there's a whole community of people that understand and want to know and have the potential to be inspired by what you're going through and seeing that they're not alone. So I always tried to toe the line, especially with dating. It gets
Mm.
hairy because you don't want to overshare. Also, like, it's not what somebody else signed up for. They're not even like with you. So I always said like it wouldn't be something I would include in my content much until I was like engaged or married. And now I am. So Clayton, you're involved. No, not that it's going to be so prominent, but obviously it's very relevant right now because we just got engaged
Hmm.
and I also enjoy talking about it and I enjoy talking about being single in your 30s and like I get it. There is whether we want to admit it or not, if you want kids, there is some level of a biological clock and women are under a certain level of pressure and I certainly felt it. I mean, deciding to be single at 31 is like it's heavy and it's both empowering and very stressful at the same time, and you go through different waves of feeling like, "Okay, well, how exciting that my person is out there somewhere." Like, any day of the week, I could meet him. But
Mm.
then there's also, like, the Saturday nights where, like, your girlfriends are out with their husbands or their kids, and you're like, "Oh, what am I doing? Will I ever find the person?"
So how did you, like, you do all the things, you've done all the things and you've shared about everything.
Yeah.
How have you been able to really get yourself out of the mindset that can keep you stuck, but also keep you in chronic pain?
Mm. Okay, big topic.
Mhm.
So, giving a little bit of background, chronic pain/conditions have always kind of been a part of my life. And I'm sure a lot of listeners can relate to kind of being like the sensitive one in the family,
Mhm.
the one that always has something going on, the one that's bothered by everything, the perfectionist tendencies. Like those tend to all kind of be packaged together. They also tend to come packaged with chronic symptoms of any kind, ranging from migraines to IBS to acne to all of these things that are like kind of these blanket terms of like, you're stuck with this. And I always had things like I had a heart condition in college where I ended up getting a pacemaker. Like I've just always kind of felt like I've been like broken in a way of like needing assistance, right? Like I got chronic strep throat all the time in college, and then I started getting diverticulitis, which is like a stomach thing in the city, and I was like in the hospital all the time. And so there's like a certain identity that you start to create around being sick or
Mm.
just having stuff all the time. And it wasn't until COVID that I started getting chronic pelvic pain. So it basically felt like I had a UTI all the time, but I didn't. Which, like, if anybody's had a UTI, you know, it's a special kind of how, like, even talking about it right now, I'm like, I hope no one gets triggered because it's so bad.
Yeah.
And also during that time, it was COVID and I was in the city by myself. I was freshly out of like a 5-year relationship, living on my own. COVID happened. I couldn't get to my family. I was scared about my business. There was all this compounding stress that I didn't necessarily take into account with what was going on with my body. I started having like memory loss. Like I'd be in the middle of a conversation and I'd be on a date and I'd forget what they were talking about. It was so embarrassing. And I was like also really freaked out. My joints were swollen. I felt like my body was breaking down on me. And it started a, 4-ish year journey of trying everything. I
Mhm.
mean, I did crazy IVs. I did treatment for Lyme disease. I saw all these doctors. I flew to different states. I did months of antibiotics. Like, I was like, I will die trying to fix this thing.
Mm.
Like I was in every day I would wake up and be like, I don't want to do anything. Like my whole pelvis feels like it's on fire. How do you work out? So it was a really dark time. I tried it all. It was New Year's Eve of 2023, and I discovered this woman named Nicole Sachs, who you should totally have on the
Oh,
podcast.
I'm already like, you've
Good.
talked about her and I'm like
She
locked
needs to
in.
be everywhere. And she will be. And I discovered her, someone pointed her out to me, and it was just one of those things where like, when someone like mentions a modality or a thing or a person and you're like, that's
Oh, your
it for
body
me.
responds.
Yes. My body was like, yep. And
Yeah.
like, I knew nothing. I was just like, Nicole Sachs. And so I read her book, I did her course, and I started her practice like immediately. I remember New Year's Eve laying on the beach at Soho Beach House and just blowing through that book on my Kindle because I was like,
What is the name of the book?
she just came out with a new one. It's called Mind Your Body.
Mm.
I started with like her OG one, but the Mind Your Body is like really where it's all at. And so I blew through the book, I did her course, and I started her practice called Journal Speak, which is a 20-minute daily dump of everything, not just like morning pages and not
Mhm.
like, here's what happened today, like letting it fucking rip. You're swearing, you're saying you hate things, you're admitting things that you would never want anyone to hear.
Mm.
And the idea is that we have this threshold for emotions. And so often people, especially women, we hold stuff in. And eventually that steam will overflow. The threshold like breaks, the top pops off, and things start to overflow. And that's when symptoms start to arise because your body would rather feel chronic pain than whatever's beneath the surface.
Ooh,
I know, it gives me
chills.
the chills.
Full body chills.
And so it's your body trying to kind of protect you
Mhm.
and also keep you busy. Because when I spent 10 years running around to different doctors and practitioners and acupuncturists and all these people who were amazing, but like it wasn't fixing me. And that keeps you busy and it keeps you not focused on the emotions. And so I started doing the journaling, and there was a ton of resistance inside of me. Like, journaling isn't going to help me. I'm having like UTIs, this is
Mhm.
crazy. But I was also like, I have literally no choice. Like, what else am I going to do?
Right.
Sometimes you have to get literally backed into a corner. And and Mel Robbins described this. I don't know. I think you read them. Did you post
Mhm.
about that?
I love Mel.
Me too. And you know how she talks about how your circumstances have to get so bad that making a change actually feels less uncomfortable than your current circumstances. And I
Yes.
love that. It resonates with me so much. And that's where I was. And so I dove in head first. I started doing it, and I have, knock on wood, no pain.
Nothing.
I get a little flicker here and there, and it's always a signal to me like, okay, something's going on
Something's off in your life.
in my life. And it can be little. It can be someone triggering you. It can feel overwhelming to pack for a trip. Like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. And that's kind of the point of this is like, if you're a person that feels everything like you and I do,
Highly sensitive person.
all of it, empath, sensitive, like all of the things, like you're feeling so much more than you even realize. And if you're not letting it out in some form, it likely it'll alert you in some kind of way. You know, it's like, that's what was happening for me. And so it's this crazy revelation. Also, now I see it in everyone. The condition is called TMS. It stands for tension myelitis syndrome. And it's basically your body creating pain or chronic conditions instead of feeling the emotions that are under the surface. And men have it a lot with back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain. Like, it can really be anything. And it's
from just like holding everything
literally constipation, another big one. Like, it makes a ton of sense when you think about it. But it's also insane to think of how powerful our bodies are that they can actually create, like, you know, when people throw their back out and they literally can't walk, like, that's what this is. And so I mean, the body is super powerful, the mind is super powerful. And this has also not only cured me of this pain that I thought I was literally going to die with, it's also shown me that, like, it's unlocked like a spiritual side of me of like, wow, there's another layer here. And if I can change my life with a journaling practice, like, what can I do with meditation and all these other things that I haven't been able to like fully nail down? So it's really expanded me in ways that I can't even describe.
It's so interesting because that is what meditation has done for me.
It's your gateway.
It's 100% my gateway. But, you know, like you, I've done all of the things. I've seen healers, and every like body worker healer will tell you, like when I was having severe lower back pain, the woman actually said what it was, and I almost fell off the table.
She identified the thing.
She was like, this is, and I like literally was like, she's like, you're holding it in and you're not allowing yourself to be honest. I was very scared of her at first. I was like, she's like, literally a witch. This is so crazy. But I think that's I know that is what meditation has helped me see in my life and myself, and in the moment where I was pushed in, you know, I think like my most uncomfortable place in life, like my rock bottom, which exactly as Mel says is, it's like that deep breath of like, anything has to be better than this. Like, there has to be another way.
Relate. Oof. Yes.
You know, and like that was the thing that led me on that path of seeing all the therapists and the healers. And by the way, like, I think all of those things led me to like going inside.
Totally. And it's also like everyone's path with it looks different. And everyone has different stuff going on. And like everyone, I believe, will get to where they're supposed to in their own way, even if they're like diverting and resisting and doing all the things. Like, there is like, if you really quiet your mind and listen, there is a nudge. It's pushing you in the right direction. I really believe in that.
I do with every single thing inside of me. Do you have a meditation practice?
I do.
Okay. So you are meditating, because I felt like you were.
I am.
Okay.
But it took me years. I don't know how it was for you, but I also just want to say, like, you really expand me in that way. I love the way you talk about meditation. I love seeing the result of you sticking with that practice, because like you can feel it in your Instagram. And it's not easy to do. And I actually I'm almost 60 days into not missing a single day.
Wow.
But it took me like years of trying and doing different apps. And like, I did a Joe Dispenza retreat. I know you did that too. Like that, I was like sitting through, like just dying because I couldn't sit.
It was intense.
It was a lot. I mean, it was amazing, but it was a lot, especially for someone who clearly wasn't advanced. Like, I don't know if an advanced 7-day retreat was it for me at that time.
He's just an advanced, like, it's also energy. It's like, male energy. That was one thing that I really picked up on there.
Yes.
Like, oh, wow. Like how I respond to
different
And
Absolutely
he's
agree.
amazing and he's a genius.
Yes. Um, so anyway, so I again, like I tried all the things and I think it comes to you at the right time, just like Nicole Sachs' work. So I actually just randomly ran into someone on the street who was a Sweats follower and we had some
Yeah.
mutual friends and we were chatting and somehow her meditation practice came up. And I had actually put on my manifestation list, like finding the right modality for me.
Mm.
And by the way, I really believe in that work. Like that's a whole nother topic. But, um, and she and I just like clicked. She got it, the girls that get it. And she mentioned what she was doing. And it's this movement meditation. It's 30 minutes a day. And you like have to go through kind of a training program to learn the things. Like Clayton calls it like my morning ninja routine because I'm sitting there and I'm doing like crazy shit with my arms.
Yes.
And it's been amazing. And
Is it a
it's,
blend of like Kundalini mixed
yes,
with,
kind
yeah,
of. And so
that does wonders for
it
me
does
too.
wonders, especially for like the mind that's hard to settle. Like meditation doesn't have to be sitting there listening to silence. Like
No.
I tried TM for a while. That was like my brain's worst nightmare because I just need a little bit more
Guidance.
movement, distraction, focus, like all the things.
Yep.
And so I've been doing that every single morning. I wake up early, I make my matcha, I have my mat sitting out. Like I set myself up for success now because I'm also like, to your point, and I literally sing your song around the house. Like, how bad do you want to feel good? It's so real. I come into the kitchen and I'm like singing it to Clayton.
How bad do you want to feel
It's
good? Like
so real.
it's so real.
How bad do you want to feel good? Like you feel like trash. There is a recipe. Do it or don't. And every day.
It's
It's a
literally
choice.
it. It's a choice. And it's a choice that we get to make. And when we stop looking around and pointing our finger at everything else or the reason for this or, oh, this, disagreement or this thing with work or, oh, my kids. No,
Mm-mm.
no. Like we have the power inside of us to do, and it doesn't have to be like the biggest
No,
thing. Like
at all.
setting yourself up, that has been one of the biggest things that and listen, ADHD brain, my brain goes a mile a minute,
Totally.
but just like one little thing to get yourself like teed up for the day before, like it
Yes.
makes such a difference.
Or like motivate yourself. I see you making your morning matcha in the dark. Like I'm
Yeah.
doing the same thing. And it's like, that gets me out of bed. Whatever you have to do. But like, we all have the time in some capacity. Whether it's waking up 30 minutes earlier, like I don't want to wake up 30 minutes earlier and leave Clayton in the bed sleeping in the dark. And I'm like in the other room banging around with headphones on. Like, I don't want to do that. But I do because also there is a momentum that gets created when you do something very consistently. And you have to get past that point. There's so much resistance. And then once you start to feel the benefits, it becomes a medicine. I wouldn't not take my medication, and it's I view it like brushing my teeth now. And I never thought I would say those words. So it's so possible for anybody who can't quite get there. Like it's a matter of finding the right fit and then staying consistent with it.
100%.
Can't skip a day.
No. And it's funny because I actually shared this today because even with us saying this, like I know you have probably most of your days where you feel the resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about feeling the resistance, but then also like I think of those two roads, right?
Yes.
Like I can feel the resistance, I can stay in bed, I can snooze. Where does that typically leave me? I regret that I didn't get up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rushed. I'm on that hamster wheel.
Yep.
I'm in that vicious cycle or fight or flight. Like it just ignites all of the anxiety for
and
me.
it sets the whole day's tone. Even like before I meditate now, I have a rule. Phone is in the kitchen when I sleep. It's not next to the bed. That's been a big change for me. I use a Hatch alarm clock. I have no phone in the bedroom. And I don't look at the phone before I meditate. I have an iPad that has no iMessage on it, specifically so that I will not look at text or Instagram or anything. Huge difference.
That's great.
Wake up, pee, meditate.
I have the Hatch alarm clock and I have to set it up. It's like right by my bed.
You have to.
I'm going to like this weekend.
It's so good.
Everyone's obsessed with it. I'm so excited.
Like I wake up to like a Malibu sunrise and flutes and it's like the best thing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But it gets you up.
It gets me up.
Because sometimes when it's too nice,
I
I'm
know,
like,
I know. I also have an 8 sleep and like the bed warms
so do
me
I,
up
and
and I'm
I'm
like
setting
so
that up today
comfortable.
too.
You're about to be set up. It's really
Okay,
good.
I'm really
It's
excited.
a great situation. You
You
can
love it
also
because Noah and I
love
like different temperatures. So that's
same,
the biggest thing.
same. And you can do that. And it's very easy, very comfortable. And like now when I travel, I like miss it. Like they need to start incorporating it in hotels because
I'm
it's,
sure they will.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I'm so excited. And I love that you just bring it back to the simplicity of it all because it really is like it's such a beautiful thing when you rely on yourself and you
totally.
realize too that there's just like there's a strength within all of us that we have yet to experience when we can actually stay devoted to ourselves.
It's a form of self-respect too, to like show up for yourself every day. I saw a reel recently that was talking about how like eating clean is also a form of self-respect.
Yeah.
And like that's not to say diet needs to be 100% clean, but like there's something, and as I've been doing all these practices, like I've been getting pleasure out of cooking a meal at home. Like there's something where you're just like, I am nurturing my body from all angles and my body is rewarding me for it. And so like we're in this momentous cycle.
Because your body responds.
Yes.
And then everything in your life starts to open and flourish in literally every single direction.
It's crazy.
It,
Work,
it's all
relationship,
connected.
it's all connected. Like, and we're not special. The person listening can do the exact same thing.
Every single person
Everyone.
has the ability to tap into the depths of their soul. And even with you saying, tapping more into your spirituality, this has been I feel like my era of like really owning that I'm such a spiritual person
Mm,
and that without the support of knowing that I'm so divinely guided, that we're all divinely guided. Like God, the universe, this energy lives inside all of us. And the more that I've been able to really own that,
hmm.
I feel like things are like opening up in a new way. Cause I was a little shy about it before.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, well, like, I'm not
Like,
like a
what are
spiritual
people going to
teacher.
think? Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it has had so many elements of being like woohoo or whatever. And I
Hmm.
used to think that too,
Hmm.
by the way. But as I've embraced, like really, really embraced, like I feel like the lights have come on a little brighter.
Yeah. And it's also like, it makes you feel like, especially if you're someone like me who's a control freak, like you don't have to control everything.
Mm-mm.
Like we got a flat tire the other day in New Jersey, Clayton and I, and he was like, obviously like bent out of shape and like we're trying to fix it and whatever. And I was like, what if we were going to get in an accident and this is like divine redirection that we're sitting on the side of the road?
Mm.
Like there is just something like I'm kind of just in this floating place. Now, that's not to say things don't bother me, but
Yeah.
like there's something really nice about being like everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to and for me. So
Mm.
like even a negative thing, like where is that redirecting me? How can we, and it's not this like effort to be 100% positive because I don't think that that's good or sustainable or healthy. It's really just like being with whatever is.
Literally.
And sometimes I'm like, I don't know, is the meditation working? And then I say things like that. I'm like, okay, we're good.
That's the goal, you know?
Yeah.
Like when people ask me, like, what do you see in 5 years? Or what do you see? I'm just, I've decided that I don't necessarily want to live there. Like I want to live where my 2 feet are. And I think
Yes.
the ultimate is literally like being here right now, but like fully being in it,
Yeah.
not trying to get through the day. That's a big thing for me because when my
Mm-hmm.
days are stacked,
Yep.
and like even today, I had a podcast earlier and just like the energy that I feel around having days that are, and then I
I
have to
get
run
it.
home for the kids. But I'm like with it and I'm not trying to get through it. Like it brings a different level of ease and softness to my nervous system.
Yes. Where you're not like, okay, I just need to get to like dinner time and then bed. Cause then it's like, what are we really doing?
What are we doing?
Then everything is like an on repeat, boring, whatever. And like we are two people who are very lucky and get to create our own days and businesses and schedules. And so what are we doing if that's not enjoyable?
I know. that's it, literally. You have been so raw about your experience taking medication for
Mm,
anxiety.
mhm.
And I even loved when you were like, I was getting a
Cocky.
little cocky and I was like, I'm good. I don't need this. Can you take us to the point of, and I don't know if you're currently on anything, but it's just really nice to break the stigma down for anyone who feels like they need more support here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I spent most of my life anxious. I
Mm.
think I was like born anxious. My first anxious memory is in kindergarten. Like I've just always been very sensitive and hyper aware, which creates a lot of thoughts. And it wasn't until I think about 2 years ago, I was in a relationship, and relationships will really bring up a lot of anxiety, even when they're healthy. There's some guy on Instagram that said like, you can heal and be on your own, no problem. But as soon as you get in a relationship, like mirrors, and it just shows you everything that you need. So this is no knock on that relationship. It's just where I was. And he actually really pushed me to try medication. I had tried all of the things, all the natural
Can
remedies.
you
Like,
share some of them too?
yeah, I did. I mean, the simple ones like CBD and
Yep.
ashwagandha, all the way to things like
Yep.
5-HTP.
I
Um,
take that now.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And there was this like adrenal support that I
Hmm.
was taking. Can't remember the
I take
brand.
that too.
Yep.
I do all those things.
You're like, can you share the things?
Saffron.
Yes. And I was actually seeing a holistic psychiatrist who was helping me. Like, he was like, here's the medicine path, here's the non-medicine path. Let's try the non first. We can always move you over to this one and or do a hybrid.
I love that
Love that.
approach.
Um, because I think it's really important that this is a sliding scale and there's range and it's not black and white. And everyone is so different. So I also say all of this,
Hmm.
like remembering that we all have very different constitutions. So this is just what worked for me. So I tried that. It was helping a little, but it still wasn't, I was still stuck. And so I started taking Lexapro 2 summers ago. And also, a part of me wanted to try this because I think it's important for me to see, even if one day I do go off the medication, which is my ultimate goal. I think it was important for me to see, like, oh, this is how other people have been living.
Hmm.
This is possible. This is what it feels like. It's expansive, even just like for your subconscious. And so I started the medication, and all of a sudden I was like cooking and like going to work events, like excited. And I started to be like, oh, I might have had like a touch of depression as well that I didn't even really realize. And I think talking with my coach and therapist now, it's like maybe that depression anxiety combination was almost a product of each other. It's like I was spinning so hard all the time that of course your body's going to burn out. Like,
Hmm.
I now think about these things as like a symptom of what's going on rather than their own diagnosis. It's not, I wasn't born depressed, but I was putting myself into a depressive state by being so fucking hard on myself and being so anxious about everything feeling like 10x what it actually was. Of
Hmm.
course my system wanted to shut down and go to sleep and not be social. It makes sense. So I start the medication. I'm like, wow, I'm seeing the world in color. I'm feeling so much better. By the way, 5 milligrams is a very low dose. Like anything less than 10 is subclinical. So like it didn't take much for me. And I was really lucky that the first thing I tried worked because I know that that's not
Hmm.
necessarily the case for everyone. Um, so I'm feeling good. I'm doing well. I went through a breakup, upped the dose a little during that. That helped, went back down. And then come this past summer, like you said, I talk about how I got cocky. I was like in Ibiza with my girlfriends. I was falling in love with my now fiance. Like everything was so good. And I was like, I think I'm good without this. So I like,
Ibiza will make you feel like
I
everything's good.
know, I know. I came back to New York and I was like, what? So I worked with my doctor, of course, and weaned off of it. That's like no easy process. And I just started to feel really dark again. And I didn't even realize that it was because I went off the medication. I was like, God, what could it be? Which is so silly because it was me not giving enough credit to what this was actually doing for me. Um, so I just started feeling like the world was sort of grayscale again. Everything felt like this heavy task. Even just like a normal work day felt heavy. I can't really describe
Mm.
it. Like the weekends felt especially dark because they were like this blank canvas to fill in. Like for some reason, the work week felt easier and then the weekend would come and it was just this daunting, heavy feeling. And it took me back to like my life pre-medication where I was like, oh my God, I used to feel like that all the time. So all this to say, I went back on. I feel good on it. Do I want to be on it forever? No. I would love to like have kids one day and be pregnant and not be on medication just because that's how I believe I should be for a pregnancy. And I also now realize with working with, the team that I have in place now that like these, like I said earlier, these anxiety and depression things are kind of like symptoms of what's going on internally. So the more I can work on that, the more I can meditate every day, the more I can journal speak and stick with my practices and like be persistent and also patient with these practices, I think I'm one step closer to like being good on my own, but I'm just not there quite yet.
Yeah. And I think that's okay. Like, I think it's great that you feel like imagine a world not being on it. But I think just literally, like we said before, like be with it. Like it's
Yes.
serving you so well. But the fact that you just have so much self-awareness and you're so in tune with yourself to even like get to the place where and by the way, I know exactly what you're talking about. Like when the days just feel like there's just like a dullness and it doesn't matter
Yes.
what it is. I've dealt with that my whole life,
Yep.
and like I've had doctors recommend Lexapro. I tested it once. I felt like it turned my lights off. Like it was the weirdest thing. I felt
Not
this
what you
dull.
want.
No, like it was so weird. It was very short lived because I immediately was like,
Yeah.
this isn't
Not for
working
you.
for me. And I do feel this, like if I weren't to meditate and if I didn't move my body or take all of the supplements that I take, like the days feel darker.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do have a low grade depression that
Like your baseline.
I know my baseline, and like it's some days it feels like, oh, the things I have to do to feel like I'm in a good, like a neutral place.
Yes.
It can feel like, I have to do things,
Yeah.
this isn't effortless for me.
Right.
But it has been this kind of choice. And by the way, that this could, as I'm listening to you, I'm like, should I try it? I'm being really honest. Like, because those days I felt it in my soul,
Yeah.
like I know exactly what you're
Oh,
talking
I can
about.
actually feel it in my
I
chest as we're
literally
talking
felt
about
it
it.
right here too.
It's this lack of excitement, even though everything is so good and you're so grateful. And yeah, I don't know exactly. I'm sure a lot of people listening know exactly what we're talking about. It either resonates or it doesn't. And also, like, bless if you're not someone who has to do all these things. Like, sometimes I look at people that have such ease with their mental health and I'm like, oh, what
Yeah,
I wouldn't give to just be able to sleep in. Like, I have to get up and do the damn thing. Otherwise, it's not good.
I'm with you,
And it's not good
honey.
for the people around me.
Same.
And nobody benefits from that.
I'm with you. And I know that this conversation is actually going to set a lot of people free. And it's going to help a lot of people know that they're not alone.
Yeah,
And even, like right now, like my form, like I take 5-HTP. 5-HTP does wonders for me.
it's amazing. Does
It's
it
an
mess your
uptick.
dreams up?
I've been having some crazy ass
It
dreams now
takes
that
me
you
to the
say it.
moon at
Oh
night.
God, girl, where I went last night, we can't even talk about
I
it.
know.
I literally was like texting a friend that today. I was like, can't give detail, but whoa, details.
No, the dreams are crazy.
They are
But
now that
like,
you say that.
it's a small price to pay.
And I'm on a very,
Yeah.
very low dose of that, but it like upticks me.
Yep.
Like it boosts my serotonin to a place where like I feel very, very level. It's not highs or high, lows or lows.
Yes.
And it is the combination of also all of the other things too,
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to tell what even is working, and you just have to be like, it's working.
it's
So I'm
working.
good. Let's not mess with it.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's exactly where I'm at. But I just love that this is why people love you so much.
Thank you.
No, because you let them in and you make people feel not alone.
I try to do with any of my work, especially with the wellness process, I try to like be who I would have wanted to guide me during my times of darkness, whether that's relationships or mental health or whatever it may be. I try to think of like how I would have wanted someone to speak about it, or like the information or rawness that I would have craved. Because it's really helpful to see that you're not alone in something.
Mhm.
And it's really helpful to hear someone's experience and like have a little thing like the weekend's feeling black and white, be like, oh my God, she gets it. And suddenly you're normalized and you can take whatever you want from my menu of options to do
Yeah,
something about it. Like it doesn't have to be a medication, of course. It can be meditation. It can be just knowing that you need to have a routine.
right.
It might just be that like sleeping in the morning doesn't serve you, because that's certainly how it was for me. Like,
And I love to sleep too, and it doesn't serve me.
same. And I was like, it's so funny because I was so good at convincing myself, like, oh, I need the extra hour. Like, oh, my Aura ring that's saying I got 9 hours, that's the real win. And it's like, actually, I'm better off with like 6.5 if that's all I have, but that extra hour of quiet time in the morning where no one's awake.
That is my gold mine.
Oh, it's the
Like, I
best.
need, like, I, by the way, live to sleep. Like, I love when I get
Same.
into bed, I'm like, this is
Heaven. Wait until you
I'm
get that
so
8 sleep popping. You're never gonna
okay,
leave
we're
the
setting it
bed.
up. No, I'm like so bad. Like I have like two more steps. I have to like take the picture of me in the bed, and then I'm like, I'm
Wait,
good.
I didn't do a picture of me.
You didn't? I'm like following the step by step. Like, what did
I'm
you do
like,
to
what is this
bypass?
picture?
Because
I
I
don't know.
be
Clayton set it up, to be honest. I didn't
okay.
do
Well,
anything.
that's where we are because Ava did it, and then I was like, I got it from here. It's been crickets for days. That's not my strength.
No, but
Logistics and things.
sleep is amazing and so important. And I feel I don't know how you are, but like I fall asleep like that.
Instant,
Instant.
instant.
Like I open one page of a
Oh,
book
same.
or I try to watch
Done.
White Lotus and it's like, I'm like snoring.
Me too. I love White Lotus. It's so good.
Same.
I swear that I used to believe I needed 8 to 9. If I sleep for 7 hours,
Mm-hmm.
7 straight hours
Mm-hmm.
solid, and I get up at 6, and today, best days, most
Best
aligned.
days. I really think that the early wake up, even if you're, quote, not a morning person, even if you love your sleep like us, even if you really value your health and like to see a high score on your Aura ring, that waking up and starting your day for yourself with your own motivation fueling you, you don't have anywhere you technically have to be, but you know that you're doing it for you. It sets the tone for the entire day. Even not hitting the snooze button sets the tone in a different way.
Completely
Those 8
different.
minutes are not worth what it's taking away from you.
Ooh, it's so true. This is how I'm here.
Yeah,
It's how
same.
I've grown because I've been able to be with myself, to sit with myself, to be honest with myself,
Yeah.
to literally look in the mirror and to know when something's off, and to, instead of, go run outside or get on a truck, like where I lived in that
Mm-hmm.
crazy mindset of like, I have to do all this cardio and literally run away from the stuff. Like the sitting and the being
Yep.
and the grounding and the centering is how I've been able to honestly like continue to just come back to my purest alignment with
Yeah.
myself.
And also to know that like no one's coming to save you. Like you have to do that for you.
I know I wanted Noah to save me so bad. I
Oh, I
was
would
just
I would
waiting.
love for someone to have saved me. It just doesn't happen.
I thought
Even
it was
when you're in a
going to.
beautiful marriage, like they still can't save you.
They cannot save you.
Only
And
you can do it.
you think they can support you,
Yes,
which can help you see that you have to save yourself.
absolutely. But like no one's waking up for you at 6 in the morning.
No, I know. It's one thing I'm most proud of with my growth is, and when you have children too, let me tell you.
I can't even begin to imagine
No.
the layers that adds.
It adds some layers, let's just say, to put it lightly. But like this morning, I've been getting in the shower earlier, and that's been one of my
Ooh,
latest
pre or
things.
post meditation?
So and I am like a meditator in like, I like to be in my robe or a sweat set and
Mm-hmm.
like my comfy socks, and I'll have my warm water with lemon, and I know that I'm like having my matcha after, so it
Yes.
makes me do it.
Yep.
It like makes me do it faster.
Yeah.
But Niti, a creator on our platform, is practicing like Ayurvedic practices. And she had said to me that she's been, getting in the shower to start your day earlier than you think. And it almost like brings me back
Mm.
to like going to bed. I think if you can change 3 things in your life, like right now, I think the simplicity of going to bed 20 to 30 minutes earlier than you'd like,
Mm-hmm.
waking up 20 to 30 minutes earlier than you'd like,
Mm-hmm.
and not touching your phone, getting right in the shower.
Yep.
Because like Benjamin said something to me, he's like, "Oh, you're so ready." And I'm like, "I am ready." Like it
He even
just,
feels it.
oh my God.
Of course.
They
They feel it all.
they feel it all. It was my kids that led me to coming back to waking up early again. Because sometimes you fall into, I was like
Absolutely. And by the way, there's
in the
room for
winter
that.
too.
Yes. It's dark as shit. You're like, I don't want to get out. It's warm. It's cold. I think the wake up is key, proving to yourself that you can do that. And also, like, I think it's Jay Shetty says something about how, like, you open your phone first thing in the morning and you're letting the
Energy
energy
of
of
others.
literally the entire world, especially if you're on social media, into you before you even do anything for yourself.
Mhm.
Not the vibe.
No, no, because then you're just, it's like you're giving to everyone. I mean, that's what we're doing all day long. So to have that time for yourself, where in this process, and you mentioned it, where you were in a break or you were in a relationship
Hmm.
that you ended up leaving,
Hmm.
can you share some of those, like, I think, like body responses that you were getting that maybe led you to knowing this relationship wasn't right and like just these red flags? Because I really feel like a lot, I don't know if it's where we are in the world, but I feel like people are just living through a lot of red flags these days. Like I'm just like, the flags are red.
The flags are flagging.
Yeah.
You know, with this relationship, I will say, like, I want to also be totally respectful of him and not get into detail about
Of course.
him. But there, the tough thing about this was there were no red flags. It
Mm,
was a really beautiful, amazing relationship. I think we both just knew that it wasn't our end all be all. And so that actually makes it even harder
really hard.
because it's one thing to break up with someone because they've cheated on you, which I've been there. Way easier. Everyone's cheering for you. When they're an amazing person, people aren't necessarily cheering for you. They're not necessarily supportive. In fact, I actually had a lot of people who I think didn't trust me in my decision making. So, what I will say is like, there are the obvious red flags. There's also times when there aren't. Just have to trust your gut. And you have to trust that what's for you will find you, that it's happening for you, that your gut will literally never guide you in the wrong direction. For me, it was a complete trust fall. And I think we were talking about this before I came on, but like the fear of being, or maybe we talked about it on here, I don't know, it's all blending together. The fear of being in your 30s and alone is not a small one. And I think a lot of women have that. It is not a reason to stay in the wrong relationship. So I will also flag that because I think it influences a lot of people's decisions. People are living with their partner. They're 32 to whatever age. I was 31. And so there's a lot to unwind.
Hmm.
But you also have to ask yourself, and I did with myself, like, I would never put myself in a position to be moving out of an apartment totally on my own, having to find my person in a smaller window than I would have liked if it wasn't where I was supposed to be. And I think that was the case for him as well. And then it all happened very quickly and I met the right person. So it's like that breakup happened. I started doing Lacey Phillips manifestation
Love
lists.
Lacey.
Love. I made my lists. I did all the things. And
Can you share a little bit about her
yes.
manifestation course?
So Lacey has a program called To Be Magnetic. I've been a member of her platform for a very long time. And her whole thing is that we manifest from our thoughts, right? So I think that's what she says. Our subconscious,
Our
our
subconscious.
beliefs about
Yep.
ourselves. So if you have limiting beliefs about yourself around money, around love, around whatever, you will literally manifest from those areas. And so she basically takes people into these hypnoses of sorts called deep imaginings and helps you to rewire those blockages. And then you create your lists and you literally start manifesting. So I was like, these are all the things I want. And literally within months, he was around the corner. So all this to say, I know I sort of steered away from your initial
That's
question, but
okay.
listening to your gut is key. It doesn't necessarily have to be red flags. And trust falls are sometimes necessary, and darkness is sometimes necessary before things get really light and bright.
How did you like go through those times? Like, what did you find helped you to actually live through it instead of trying to, you know, find someone and just kind of latch yourself onto because it was just like an easy quick fix? Like a lot of girls I find will say that,
Mm,
like, oh, the best thing to do with a breakup is like go. And I'm like, well, actually, you
totally.
could probably find yourself in the same situation with the next relationship if you do that because you're not
Yes.
learning the lesson here.
No, you will repeat the exact same patterns.
Yeah.
And I definitely did that at first. I was on the apps. I was going on very unfulfilling dates. I was kind of like, ooh, could I make this work? And like, again, your gut is like giving you signals, like, not for you. Um, and then I sort of took a pause and I was like, I need to be really happy alone. There's something going on here. And I'm afraid of being like really actually alone because I've never really fully been alone despite like living alone. I've always had, situations going on. And so I took time and like really spent time alone. I went and did the Hoffman process. I was like, we're going deep.
I forgot you did that.
I mean, that was no joke.
Can you share anything or are you not supposed to?
Yes. So
You're not supposed to like,
I won't share details because
right.
I don't want to change the experience
Of
for
course.
anyone that would maybe go. Um, it is essentially, and I honestly didn't really know that much about it going into it. I just like, again, knew that it was for me. It's essentially helping you to heal your relationships with your parents. And it had nothing to do with my relationship, but also everything at the same time.
Mm,
They take you through a process of really roughing up all the things that trigger you about your family and your parents and your upbringing, bringing awareness to it, and then bringing compassion and forgiveness and like moving on from it. So many people's like patterns and behaviors and mental health stuff comes from those situations, whether they're big T traumas or the little things or people's personalities or whatever it is. Um, and it really changed my life. I mean, I think I'm still integrating it. It's been over a year, and they say that I think it's like more than a year of just like integrating all that you go through during that week. I mean, you're no cell phone,
mm.
nothing. You're up every day, 5 o'clock in the classroom to 5 p.m. You eat dinner in silence. Like, it is no joke. Um, you're having funerals, you're beating pillows. Like, it is mayhem
I've
in there
heard.
in the best way.
Yeah.
And so that's just an example of I became very serious about like, I got to get my shit together. I need to figure out what's going on here where like I haven't been happy. Um, and a lot of it honestly came back to like being really hard on myself and like beating myself up all the time and not even taking it back to Nicole Sachs' work. Like, that's a big part of it. If you're someone that looks in the mirror and you're ripping yourself apart the entire time, your body is feeling that.
Mm.
So many people don't even realize that like they're going to a workout class to do something good for themselves and then they're sitting there tearing themselves apart without even realizing it, because especially women, like, we're on autopilot
I
to see
know.
flaws.
That's why I started teaching. That was me.
Totally. It's you don't realize until you do
Yeah.
about what a toll it's taking you know, without even having any attention on it.
I know.
Especially when it's just running in the background. You're walking down the street and you're like feeling your jeans feel tight and you're ripping yourself apart over what you ate for the weekend or whatever it is. Like, that is very real.
So this helped you see
Yeah.
how you were like just ways you were even just like treating yourself in the slightest.
And where it came from,
Mm.
which obviously, if you've done therapy, you generally have an idea. There's a difference between knowing where it came from and knowing where it came from and then working through it.
Mm.
Because if we know, then almost it sometimes can create resentment. Um, and yeah, look, we all have complicated family situations to whatever degree. Even if you had a really beautiful upbringing, there's always things that stuck.
Always.
No parents are perfect. And I actually had really great parents. So it's like, it can happen to anyone. And I don't know, I think it was just a different level of, I want to go deep. I want to do the work. I want to like prepare myself for that person. Um, and then it happened. So the work works.
Yeah. So did you feel when Because you and Clayton you knew each other.
Yes, loosely. Like we hadn't really interacted, but like I knew who he was and vice versa.
Right. But did you feel at that time when you guys had that first like initial like kind of feel? Because like you do kind of just know. It's weird.
Yes.
Like no matter what anyone says, your body literally tells you it's like safe.
It's crazy.
I know.
So when I first was reconnected with him, I ran into him while I was out to dinner with some girlfriends, and he came over to the table, and I literally was like, and I don't want to confuse this feeling with butterflies because it wasn't that. It was just like, that is a person that I need to know and I need to be around. And I didn't sleep that night. Literally, you and I sleep 0 hours. I was up because I was like, I met my husband. And like we had a 10-minute conversation. That was it. So that happened. 48 hours later, I went to go review a Pilates class with my team. It was a very small class, Chelsea DeLay.
I love your reviews.
Thank you.
You're so cute.
So I waltz in there to review, and he's in the class on the reformer next to me.
No.
And I'm like, I mean, if this isn't a sign, I don't know what is.
Seriously.
It's like a small class of all women and then Clayton. It's like...
You're like, you're my person.
And I texted Dale afterwards. I was like, it was literally last summer. And I was like, my husband was in Pilates today. She sent me the screenshot when we got engaged. She's like, you knew it.
That's so
And I don't throw that around. I'm not
I love
the girl.
your relationship with Dale too. It's so sweet.
So special. We have been through all of it together. And like nobody can ever replace that energy. You know what I mean?
No one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you walk into the. I'm there. I'm on the reform right now.
Okay, I'm sweating in the class. I'm like so nervous. I'm also mad about my outfit because I'm like, I had no idea this guy was going to be in here. I was in like a purple onesie. I'm like, why? Was so annoyed. And he asked me to get coffee shortly thereafter, and we kept it very friendly at first.
Love.
So important without even knowing it. I know you did that too.
Love.
We built this friendship where there was obviously like romantic feelings, but no one was talking about it, which is very funny now when I think about it. And I was traveling for most of the summer, so we were like pen pals. We would FaceTime for 5-6 hours. I was getting no sleep, literally none, because of the time difference. And like, I'd just be up all night on the phone with him.
Wow.
And we were just so connected. I came back from Ibiza that summer. He picked me up from the airport, and like we literally were joined at the hip ever since. Off into the distance, into the Hamptons. And that was it. And we kept it really like, I will say this past summer was really special because we weren't really sharing it with anyone. We were just sort of like in our little bubble. We didn't want any noise. We didn't need anybody talking about it. We were just like enjoying each other and having no one know. And that was so special.
I loved that, by the way. I picked up on that.
Oh, I love that.
I intuitively knew that you, like, it's so weird.
What?
I
Tell
know.
me.
There was just something that I felt very strongly in. You could feel protection on whatever. And I think that that's very smart because, listen, everything is energy. And when you put things out that some, people want and you get evil eye, it can, it's crazy how it can interfere 100%.
I know.
And I swear there was one time you kind of in a glimpse, look at me, a little creeper. I was like, is that Clayton? And I was like, wait a second. Like that, they're perfect together.
It makes so much sense. I love that you picked that up.
I know.
But like, it's because you get it.
I do get it.
And
I kept Noah a secret for a long time in the beginning.
I love that.
I didn't even tell my friends.
Stop.
Well, because they all knew him. So it was like,
did they die when you were finally like, this is what's been happening?
Because just imagine like a bunch of us worked for him.
Right.
So you already have an idea of who you think someone is, which by the way, I had the same. So I just felt like to really listen to my heart instead of other people's opinions and input. I had to do that.
No noise.
I couldn't.
Sometimes you just can't afford the noise and you have to know when to just be very like self-preserving. And I think that's what we both did.
Yeah. I think it's really beautiful for a relationship to bloom and then to really blossom.
It's the best because you also then have this foundation of like really knowing the person without it being like romantic and being like swept away in that.
Yeah, I know.
Like people ask when our first date was and I'm like, we didn't really have one because it was like coffee and friendship for so long,
Yeah.
which is so interesting and like so not what I would have necessarily pictured.
Right.
But also like feels so right. And I should also add that I saw a psychic last year.
Yes. Tell us about the psychic.
Oh my God. So I'm going to end up giving you Jamie's contact
Yeah.
info.
Can we say her name or are we keeping her?
Her name's Jamie, but
Okay.
you literally won't find her anywhere.
Everyone's going to ask for
I
her
know.
information. Is there
I've been
like a
getting
handle? Nothing?
nothing.
Okay, Jamie, we'll find you.
It's her phone number, so like I can't necessarily give it out on here. She's in Texas. It's a phone call. She reads your eyes. I had a call with her last February.
Over Zoom? FaceTime?
No, literally just a phone call.
Oh, so like she goes into your soul.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
entering.
Okay.
She's entering your soul. And she told me it was February, so it was right before Hoffman. I was like kind of dating this toxic guy. And I was like asking her about him because you can also send her pictures of people and she tells you.
Okay.
So I'm sending her all my dates. And she's like, nope, it's not him. I'm crushed. Because I'm like, no, I thought it was him. Jamie, are you sure? And she's like, you're actually going to be engaged next year at this time to someone else. And I was like, what are you actually talking about? Like, in less than a year? What do you mean? And she describes this guy so specifically. Like, I won't even say, but like things where like it's so niche to him that like I was like, what? She also mentioned real estate, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I mean, 4 weeks off from when she said I would be engaged, I was.
Wow.
So
Jamie.
back to what we were saying, like I was surprised by all of this, but also not because I had this like inner safety and knowing that like it was all just going to work out. And Jamie helped me with that. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Everyone's coming for you, Jamie. I think that's very important though. I've seen psychics before, but it's nothing I do regularly. Sometimes it's just interesting to get a little bit of a read.
Yes. It's especially great when you don't have a specific purpose that you're going to get an answer on.
You're not like, help me figure this thing out. It's more just like, give me some energy. Like, what are we feeling?
Yes.
Like it can be fun.
Totally. And it was. And like, it's been crazy to see. Like, I'm like, wow, she's not wrong about anything.
Wow. Okay. We're all invested in your love life now. And I need to know how he proposed.
Oh my God. Of course.
Because I watched the video and I was just like, it was so sweet.
You're so sweet.
Oh.
It was really special. I'm not someone who ever wants a production. Like, I don't even think we will have a wedding. Like, I don't love the formalities of any of it. I like it for other people. I love celebrating other people, but just not for me. And so we were heading out to the Hamptons 2 Fridays ago. Just the two of us. He had just bought a house in Amagansett and we were going to see it together for the first time as owners because the owner had finally moved out. We'd been to the house, but not like with it emptied and like together. So we wake up in the morning and he's like in an extra great mood. He asks me what my perfect day would look like. And I'm like, matcha full, followed by Carissa's salmon bowl. I list all the things. And I'm like getting ready to get in the car and I'm wearing like a hideous sweatpant grout fit. And he's like, this is my first sign, is him like gently putting me in like jeans and a cardigan and being like, are you sure? Like, what about this? I'm like, weird, but like, sure. So I change again, like I'm Delulu. I both knew we would get engaged soon and also was like, I don't feel like I have to put any pressure or force on this. So I'm just like, I had a deep trust.
That's when it happens.
And that's how it's been the entire way. There's been no push-pull. I never wanted that. I never wanted to force someone to get engaged to me. That was my nightmare.
That is not the energy. I don't think that's the energy that can like keep it or sustain it.
No.
Because you're trying to control it.
And not to mention, as a very sensitive person, that would haunt me.
Haunt.
So anyway, we get in the car, we go out east, we do all of our things, we pull up to the house. He's like, let's go to the beach before we go in the house. I was like, formal, but sure, like, let's do that. We take off our shoes, we ground at the beach. He's doing all of my like woo-woo things with me without any level of force. And I'm like, this is interesting. We had this nice moment on the beach. He's like taking photos of me. Like he was kind of like messing with me because like he knew it was coming. And so we had all these pictures where he's like sticking his tongue out and I'm just like not knowing what's going on.
So cute.
And we go to walk into the house and he's like, I'm going to film you walking in. So first we take a moment on the doorstep and we're like hugging and he's like, we're envisioning what we want our lives to look like in this house. And he's like, just so you know, your entire life is going to change when you walk into this house. And again, I'm like,
You didn't at all.
no. I'm like, it's the house. You're right. This is our future. Still not clocking it. I know. I'm going up the stairs and he's like filming behind me. I walk into this empty house and there's like these big bouquets of flowers. I'm still not clocking it. I'm like, Clayton, that's so beautiful. Thank you. And he's like, go over there and like open the door and let's hear the ocean. So I walk over and I like get ADD brain.
Does he set the tripod up at this point?
He's still, yes, he's thrown the phone on the ground in 0.5 zoom out
Yeah,
at
because
perfect
he got
angle.
the thing.
I have no idea how he did this. It was actually amazing. He's thrown it on the ground. I'm, again, like delulu. Don't even know. I walk over. I'm like getting distracted. You can then see in the video that he has the ring behind his back. So he's like planning to do it. And I'm coming over to him, like trying to hug him. And he's like trying to redirect me. He's got the ring and like it was just a whole dance. Finally gets me out of his way. And I open the door and I turn around and he was on one knee. And I was like, I mean, I completely blocked the moment out because I was so happy and just like on a different planet. And I didn't even like know that it was being recorded, you know? It was
He's
so
so
special.
smart to have said, like, I'm going to video you. Because, like,
Yes,
obviously,
I was like, content,
you share
great. Yeah.
everything.
It all made sense. But it was really special. And I love that it was just us and no friends there, no family, no photographer. Like,
Yeah.
just an us moment. I would have also been totally fine if it wasn't captured. It's just a bonus. And it was so special. And I was so shocked.
Oh, it's so sweet. And
Thank you.
when you were sharing after on a Q&A and you were like, it's so sweet how many people are interested. And I wrote to you and I'm like, because people love you.
I was like, Melissa, what?
People love you. And
Thank you.
it's so beautiful to see someone that you love, like, be loved and to find love. And it makes people feel hopeful.
Absolutely. And I've so been there. And I'm so honored truly to be like expansive for anyone in that area because I understand what it feels like to be single and dating and go through a horrible multi-year breakup and to move out and to feel hopeless. Like I have been through all the stages of that. And I really believe that all of our people are out there. And it's just a matter of like getting yourself to the right space for it and trusting that it's going to happen and not doing the push-pull thing. Like I hit a point where I was like, no more dating apps. Like this is not for me. Also, Jamie told me I wasn't going to meet him on an app. So I was like, get rid of the apps. But yeah, it's, I'm so happy to be, I can't believe I'm in the position where I could be inspiring anyone with my relationship. Like there's something weird about when you're in your 30s and so many of your friends are engaged or married or have kids. And I'm realizing that a part of me was like, didn't believe it was for me in a weird way. I was like, yeah, that's for everybody else. Everybody else gets to have the home and the family and the kids. And like, I'm sort of on the sidelines in a weird way. I got so used to that identity that like, I can't believe I'm now in that bucket. Like as soon as he proposed, I'm like, we're married. And he's like, no, we're not. Not yet. I just went straight into it. I'm like, I'm a wife. Because it's so crazy to me.
Oh,
but it's also so amazing.
It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful because you've gotten yourself here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you've brought all of these beautiful things into your life through literally going through the darkness.
Yeah, it makes you also so grateful for all of those dark times. Like even the worst of my days with pelvic pain, I wouldn't be doing any of this. I likely wouldn't even be sitting here if it weren't for that. It really makes you, when you're on the other side of some of those setbacks, trust in the process because all of that was with guidance, I believe.
Oh, 100%. It's the thing that people want to bypass the most, but it's because there's something going on somewhere in your life that is completely at disease. And when you can like really go there and it's so hard and you may have to disrupt something really big and it's painful and it's challenging and it hurts, but it's because you're literally being guided to something.
You're up leveling.
And I honestly adore you. Oh my God. And
Thank you.
I'm
It's so mutual.
just to see you, I feel like I've literally watched you grow up.
You kind of have
I
in a
have.
weird way.
Like, I feel like when you were just like a young girl, and like to see you really step into yourself. It's like we said before, it's like we all have it,
Absolutely.
but setting yourself up for it, like really doing it, seeing yourself is where it's just like the lights, they come on and they're really bright.
Thank you. And I do think like when you find your purpose also, and you've inspired me so much in this way because it's so clear that you've found yours, it brings out a different energy in you that then creates this momentum of creation, if that makes sense,
A
where
hundred
it's like,
percent.
I feel like I've found it in my podcast and in talking to people and chronic pain and all these things that I thought were like my detriments. And now I get so lit up by it, even on the days where it's a little bit grayscale. Like there's
Yeah,
still that level of gratitude for where I am, what I've been able to create, the people I've been able to inspire. And that's why we do what we do, right? That's why we're sitting here having this conversation, like podcasts, apps, all the things. Like we want people to experience the sauce that we're experiencing
a hundred
because
percent.
everyone can feel good.
Everyone can. And like it's about you finding the things that make you honestly just like light up a little bit inside. Like the things that like set your soul on fire. And it doesn't even have to be like the biggest thing, but it's like those little things. And the more that you keep doing them and trying on different things and like
Mm-hmm.
readjusting, because it kind of is that
It's
having
trial
that
and error.
flexible approach.
Mm-hmm.
Like how I was 10 years ago, I'm so different now. Like I'm devoted in a way I've never been because I just know and trust that
Mm-hmm.
that's how everything keeps opening up for me. And to see it all open up for you has been I love watching you.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to come on your podcast
Oh my God,
too.
I can't wait. We
Tell
have
us where everyone can find you and all things.
so much to chat about. Okay, so my podcast is called The Wellness Process, Spotify, Apple, all the places.
Great name.
Thank you.
Hmm.
It's at The Wellness Process Pod on Instagram. And then my personal account is Eliza End.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Melissa. What a treat.
I mean, you're just a doll. Can you even with this one? Like, you're just so lovable.
Thank
And
you.
I'm so happy for you.